Rain poured heavily that night, drumming against the hood of a battered pickup parked outside a lonely diner on the edge of town. Inside sat a man in his late 30s, grease-stained hands clutching a coffee cup that had long gone cold. His name was Ethan, a single dad doing his best to hold his world together with duct tape, long hours, and quiet prayers no one ever heard. Just as he was about to leave, headlights flickered through the storm. A sleek silver car sputtered to a stop right outside the diner, steam hissing from its hood. The woman who stepped out was clearly not from around here, elegant, wearing a soaked beige coat, holding her phone up with no signal, frustration written across her face. Ethan didn't think twice. He grabbed his jacket, stepped out into the storm, and called out, "Need some help, ma'am?" She hesitated, wary at first. But when their eyes met, hers sharp yet exhausted, his kind but worn, she nodded. "It just died on me," she said, her voice shaky. "And there's no signal." Ethan lifted the hood, light from his phone cutting through the rain. "You've got a bad alternator. I can fix it enough to get you home." He worked quietly, his hands steady despite the cold wind. When he finished, she offered money. He refused. "Just a sandwich would be enough," he said with a smile that didn't quite reach his tired eyes. She laughed softly, surprised. "You fixed my car for a sandwich?" "Ma'am," he said gently, "a good sandwich can fix a long day." Inside the diner, they sat across from each other. She introduced herself as Claire, a marketing executive from the city who'd taken a wrong turn heading home. They talked about work, about life, about how hard it is raising a kid alone. When Ethan mentioned his little daughter, Lily, her smile softened. "You must be a great dad," she said. He shrugged. "Trying to be. Some days it's enough, some days it's not." When her car was ready, she thanked him again. "You're a good man, Ethan," she said, before driving away into the storm. He thought that was the end of it, just a small act of kindness exchanged between strangers. But the next morning, everything changed. The next day started like any other for Ethan, early, cold, and quiet. Lily's laughter filled their small home as she practiced her school recital, her old dress slightly torn at the hem. He promised to fix it after his shift at the garage. But when he arrived, his boss handed him a folded notice: the shop was closing down. "Sorry, Ethan," the old man said, "business just ain't what it used to be." Ethan stood frozen, heart pounding. This job was all he had. Rent was due, bills stacked on the table, and Lily needed medicine he could barely afford. Still, he smiled through the ache, told his boss it was okay, and walked out into the gray morning, unsure what came next. That afternoon, a shiny black car pulled up outside his small rented house. He recognized it instantly: Claire's. She stepped out, smiling as if the rain had never touched her. "You didn't tell me you worked at Johnson's garage," she said softly. "I went there to thank you again, but they told me it's closing." Ethan nodded, embarrassed. "Yeah. Guess I'll find something else soon." She looked at him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she said, "I don't think you understand what you did for me that night." He frowned. "I just fixed your car." Claire shook her head. "No, Ethan. You reminded me that there are still good people in the world, people who give without expecting anything. And I happen to be looking for someone like that." She reached into her coat pocket and handed him a business card. "I own a small chain of auto shops in the city. I need someone to run one of them, someone I can trust." Ethan blinked, stunned. "You're serious?" "Completely. You're exactly the kind of person I want on my team. And if you say yes, I want to help you move closer, maybe even help Lily get into a better school." He couldn't speak. His throat tightened as he looked at the card in his trembling hand. "Why me?" Claire smiled warmly. "Because you fixed more than my car that night, Ethan. You fixed my faith in people." Tears welled in his eyes. "I don't know what to say." "Just say yes," she whispered. Months passed, and Ethan's life transformed. He managed one of Claire's new shops, and for the first time in years, he didn't have to choose between food and rent. Lily's laughter grew louder, her dress was replaced with a new one, and their home was filled with light again. Claire visited often, at first for business, then just because she wanted to point. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the garage gold, Lily ran up holding 2 sandwiches. Dad! Miss Claire made these, she said, giggling. Ethan looked at Claire, who smiled shyly. I thought maybe I could return the favor, she said. He laughed, shaking his head. Careful, that's how all this started. She smiled softly, eyes glimmering. Then maybe it's a good thing it did. And in that quiet moment, surrounded by the smell of oil and bread, laughter echoing off the walls, Ethan realized something. Sometimes, a simple act of kindness, even one done for just a sandwich, can rewrite an entire life, because love doesn't always begin with grand gestures. Sometimes, it starts with a broken car, a warm meal, and 2 hearts brave enough to care again.